Where is this new SRAM Red group set at? This is a question I get asked a lot, and there's a lot of good reasoning behind it. I do a lot of videos showing off spy photos of what looks to be SRAM Red. I do a lot of videos saying that SRAM Red is due for an upgrade because it's been out for so long. And in my mind, I really do think that there is a SRAM Red group set that is supposedly supposed to be released this year, but I have some reasoning for why I think that it's not going to be released this year. And it's not because of the fact that it isn't ready. I just think that there might just be a ton of overstock, which I'll show you guys what I'm talking about in a little bit. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys when SRAM Red started and how long it's been out there for, because it might actually shock you that it's been almost 4 or 5 years that's been out there. I'll show you guys the spy photos I'm talking about of what looks to be new SRAM Red that they still haven't kind of gone in depth with. And then also we're going to talk about all the SRAM product launches that they've done this year, which have done, they had the SRAM revamp of Force. They did the new SRAM Apex 12-speed. They had a whole revamp of their whole mountain bike line for the transmission series XX1, X01, and also GX transmission series as well. So maybe they want to hold off there. And then also we're going to talk about stock levels, retail sales, stuff that I really know the nitty gritty of, and stuff that I'm going to kind of assume and insinuate. I know it's not always good to assume, but there's numbers that I know, and there's numbers I'm going to show you guys as well to the reason of this. So hopefully you guys enjoy. So first and foremost, let's go back to here. This bike right here. This is a 2019 S-Works Venge. I know it doesn't seem that long ago, but literally, it's 2023 right now, and this bike was released about 4 years ago. Technically in 2018, because it's always a product year ahead of time. But this is when we first saw, or at least I first saw, SRAM Red 12-speed axis on a road bike. They released this mid-year of 2019. It was kind of on the back end of it, and it was the first time we saw this group set. So if you guys think about it, SRAM has had a 12-speed wireless group set on the market now for about 4 years. And about time, usually 3 to 4 years in every kind of product launch for the whole bicycle industry in terms of bicycles, wheels, frames, stuff like that, even group sets, it's when they change up their group sets. Now SRAM has always done their due diligence and homework when making their new group sets and keeping everything kind of tight-lipped. They've even gone so much to tell me back in the day when they were releasing this new wireless ETAP stuff, the rim brake stuff, they would go back in the Tour de France or in these grand tours to test the wireless shiftings, and they'll make fake cable housing so that way no one can tell the difference. So I know that they do a really good job at hiding stuff and doing their testing and making sure everything's up to par when it first comes out. But it has been a while that there's been 12-speed axis on there. It's been a while since there's been any kind of upgrade or update to this group set. The only update that's really been to this group set is just that they released bigger size chainrings. The shifters not changed, nothing has changed. Whereas the counterpart to it, the one step under, SRAM Force, just received a update this year. Nothing crazy, but some big changes to the group set. They changed the shifter hood sizes, which I said they would. When they released the new SRAM Rival ETAP, they released it with a new hood shape compared to the old Force and Red. And I said that there would be no reason for them to do that. If not, they're going to put it into their other groups and see how the people responded. So basically you just have this now, this SRAM Force group set with carbon levers and a Rival hood shape. They updated the chainrings, and they basically took a Force tier group set that looked kind of dull and kind of relaxed, and they make it look shiny and glimmery, and rightfully so. I mean, you're usually buying a bike that's about $6,000, $8,000. You want a group set to look good, whereas the older Force stuff look dull. And this is a select few customers of mine that I do sell bikes to. That would literally hinder their decision to go ahead and buy a bicycle or not, because of the fact that they said that the Force just had that gray dull look to it. And that was just their choice, not theirs. But Force came out with a nice group set. And I would speculate that SRAM had a red group set ready to go this year, right around the Force launch, because we've seen it with their XX1, their mountain bike line. We've seen it when they released their XX1 transmission group set, they released their XO right after that, and then they released their GX. So usually when they do some kind of upgrading to these group sets, they want to go ahead and do them as together. And like I said, I don't think that they're working on something. I don't think they're having hiccups with the group set. I think they have what they want, but I just think that there is just too much going on right now. And let me show you why. So these were the videos I was talking about with the SRAM Red where I've done this. This was 7 months ago. Is this the new SRAM axis we've been waiting for? This has been before the Force release. I think this is around the Rival release, but this is basically a shifter that was on a classified bike. This is an add-on with a classified shifting hub on here. But basically a Rival shifter with a SRAM Red carbon blade. And I was assuming that this was the new SRAM Red. I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's probably what the SRAM Red is going to look like. Again, just a smaller hood shape, what people wanted to, going back to SRAM's roots where they always had the smaller shifter blade on there. But when I reached out to this gentleman who had these pictures, and also when I talked to some reps of SRAM, they said that's not uncommon for retired pros, semi-pros, or even pros to go ahead and opt in for a better fitting shifter for that rider's hand and just outfit it with a carbon fiber shifter blade, which you can just take out the shifter blade and put into this one to make it the nice top premium stuff. And if it's going to be in the limelight, give it a nice flagship taste. So I was like, okay, cool. Makes sense. But then we had another video. Excuse me. Then we had some actually shocking looking shifters updates right here. This one right here, which was on a Canyon Movie Star rider. This was about, I want to say about 6 months ago as well. Yeah, 6 months ago. These are spy photos. Not in any kind of tour, but a really odd looking shifter shape of a SRAM Red. And this looks like old school SRAM Red. And this is what I said in the video as well. This looks like the 10-speed double tap type stuff, the SRAM Red that we all know and love. The small shifter hoods, the super lightweight stuff. And that's why I really made forward in this video. I said that SRAM needs to get back to that lightweight. Everyone wanted to ride them. You saw a lot of pros and tours choose them because of the fact that it was just such a small ergonomic shifter hood, very lightweight. So I was like, hey, they might go after this lightweight shape again. And it was a complete change to the shifter hood. It's a very long hood, very slim blade lever on here. It was working with the SRAM Red chain rings. And this wouldn't be something new because SRAM usually makes a lot of their stuff backwards compatible or their stuff working with vice versa. So I thought to myself, they would have maybe this. I even said in this video, I think 6 months ago, that I would guess for this year that a new SRAM Red will come out. But then 2 months after that video, stuff started to lag behind in retail and in sales. And what I mean by that is, if you guys did not know, I work in a bike shop and we sell product. And so after like around February, March, you see and heard, I've done plenty of videos of this, where a lot of stores have kind of slowed down. A lot of people are dumping off stuff. There's tons of sales everywhere. I mean, even on this website right here, Competitive Cyclist, 20% off on a bunch of stuff. You're seeing more and more components get blown off there. And SRAM was one of those group sets. SRAM in general was one of those products that was getting really dumped off very hard. Yes, there was new releases of the SRAM mountain bike stuff, so you're seeing that mountain bike stuff get dumped. Yes, the new release of the Force is getting released, so you're seeing now this get dumped as well. But even during the Black Friday event last November of 2022, you were seeing massive sales on SRAM Red. They had a ton of stock of it. And the reason why I say this is because during those COVID times, during that pandemic times, you really did see SRAM supply pretty much the whole bicycle industry. Shimano was almost non-existent when we were building up frames because Shimano was in between of the time of releasing their new 12-speed stuff. So they didn't have any 11-speed stock because they were releasing this 12-speed stuff, but they had a date in their head when they wanted the 12-speed stuff to come out. So a lot of my bike builds were SRAM. A lot of the bike builds that were coming into my shop were SRAM, and SRAM was just selling through all the inventory. So in my mind, what I would think, just like any kind of job, is that there's a buyer for SRAM, and basically his job is to make sure that SRAM has enough stock to sell to retailers, to sell to online e-commerces, to sell to distributors or manufacturers like this, to sell to us retailers. So he probably had a job, and the SRAM boss like, hey, make sure we have product. We're selling through all of our stuff, reorder it. Because we don't ever see an end to this in sight with these COVID sales. So they probably put in these massive reorders for all the groups that they were selling because there was this dry spout of where we couldn't find SRAM anywhere. All of a sudden, the end of COVID's coming by. There's a demand still for bicycles, but not as much. And we start to see a ton of SRAM come in. I mean, a ton of SRAM. I mean, like, we had back orders with, like, Quality. We had back orders with J&B. We had back orders with SRAM. 10 kits per each one because we were selling like crazy. And then when they started to trickle in the inventory, we're like, we don't really need that. We don't really need that. And, I mean, we were just doing what was best for us in that purpose. There wasn't a demand for it. We had the orders. They weren't fulfilling them, so we were canceling our back orders. But they were ordering off our back orders. They were ordering off other retailers' back orders. They were ordering off bicycle manufacturers' back orders for these group sets. So, in theory, I'm going to show you guys what I mean by this. Yes, we have these SRAM Force group sets here. Okay, these are all on sale, and there still is a ton of them. You'll probably still see some good deals on this stuff because it's older stuff. The new SRAM's out, so you might even see cheaper than this come out. Just saying. But we have over here a flagship group set. Group sets are still being used on the tour today. Group sets being used by Jumbo Visma. 2x SRAM Red group sets. Now, the reason why I don't think that there's going to be a new SRAM group set release this year, or maybe there could be, who knows, but what I just don't think why, is because of the fact that they have so much stock of it. And it will really kill the stock of these people. Now, this is just one company, but there's a ton of retail stores like me who had, let's say, 5 groups in stock. And you could think about how many bike stores there are in this country. And then you have e-commerce sites like this. And then you have manufacturers who sell it to, or distributors who sell it to us. And then you have bicycle manufacturers that are ordering these group sets as well. So, this is a SRAM Red 2x group set. And let's just go ahead and see how much quantity we can get up on here. We're at 23 group sets I can order from them right now. It's $61,000. Now, this is again retail. I'm sure they pay way less for this. But that's it. We cap out at a quantity of 38 they have in stock, which is not, I mean, I'm sure they would like to have a little bit less because of the demand right now, but it's not uncrazy because Competitive Cyclist is a massive e-commerce and sells nationwide. But you have $102,000 worth of cost in here and stuff that's not moving. This is just one outlet for this product, and this is just one SKU they have. Then they have replacement shifters, replacement derailleurs, replacement batteries, replacement cranks, crank arms, chain rings, cassettes, and they also have kind of big quantities like this as well. So you got to think SRAM category for this company in retail numbers have massive amounts of money tied up in this product. So you have Competitive Cyclists, you have Planet Cyclery, which I think is around the same, if not mistaken. And this is just a 2x kit. Oh wait, no, I think it was like 30. This is just a 2x kit. Update cart. They also have 1x kits. They also have 2x kits in HRD, not flat mount. And again, this is $64,000 tied up in just their Planet Cyclery. This is not Jensen. This is not maybe Mike's Bikes. This is not yada, yada, yada. And I know bike shops personally that have 10 to 20 of these group sets sitting in stock trying to move them. We did a really good job of moving our product when we needed to. And now I can be proud to say that we have about 2 to 3 of these group sets here. But again, this is just to the consumer. This is people like, okay, Grant, what are you trying to get at? This is just consumer sales. Now let's go to like companies, like I said, I can't really speak on the numbers themselves, but I am able to see open inventory of companies that we buy from. Like a J&B, JBI, like a QBP or Quality, like a Holly. And I could say that in those one SKU of this, let's just say this right here, this one SKU, and let's say, I mean, I would assume in a retail number, I was messing around with it, and just one company had about like $500,000, $500,000 in one SKU. Just one SKU. This one. Then you have the 1x kits. Then you have the $300 cassettes. Then you have the $500 crank arms. Then you have the $800 power meter chainring sets in different configurations. So you have to think that these companies are sitting on a ton of it. I'm sure that they're talking to SRAM, and then that's not even it. You have Quality, you have JB, you have retailers, everything like that. Then you have main SRAM. Me as a dealer, I can either order from JBI, I can order from Quality, I can order from Holly, or I can skip all them and go to SRAM and get it from them. And then SRAM has X amount of stock, which is a really good amount. You see what I'm getting at? There's a lot of SRAM Red out there. And yes, it's still a premium product. Yes, it's working amazing. But I don't think a company is going to go ahead and shoot themselves in their foot by releasing a brand new product out there to a point where they'll have to, one, devalue this when they're already giving out massive discounts on this stuff randomly as is. They'll do like daily deals or flash deals here or there. But I don't think they're going to devalue this product by releasing a new product right now. It would be dumb. They would just lose a bunch of money. They already are losing money by moving this stuff. So, yeah, I don't see it to be until maybe next year, or it could be a shock maybe later on in like October, November. Let's say a company comes out with a new bike and maybe they put it on there. Who knows? But if I had to guess, I would say it'll be next year sometime until they get this inventory numbers kind of moved. And then maybe even that, when they do launch this kind of new SRAM, let's say they do launch a new SRAM, it could be kind of a hindered or slow start to it because everyone who's looking to upgrade is either waiting for the new SRAM Or they might just get an extremely good deal on the old SRAM, just say, screw it, I'm happy with this deal. And then those people who are going to upgrade, they already got a good deal on the old SRAM, they're not there, the numbers just aren't there. So they're probably waiting for this stuff to die down. But I do believe that a new SRAM is already made, and they're just waiting for it to be released. Anyways, hopefully you guys found this video informative. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm sure you guys have seen tons of deals of SRAM all over the place for SRAM Red. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next video.